Hi, my name is Zeke. I am a 23-year-old consultant at a Big Four firm. I graduated college in May of 2021, so just about a little over a year out. I recently took the GMAT and I scored a 770, which I was very happy about. I was very excited about. I guess I'll walk you through the journey of kind of how I got to Target Test Prep and why, and I say this without equivocation, by far the best program I could have used. I mean, I don't think I would have been able to score a 770 without the use of Target Test Prep. When I started studying for the test, I had just gotten out of college. I believe it was around September of 2021, or I guess it was right when I started work. So in September of 2021, I signed up for a competitor of Target Test Preps. So I won't say their names because I don't want to give them bad publicity, but I was not very wowed by their company. I was studying for it, and in all the past standardized tests I've taken, I was kind of able to just do practice questions, and then I would just kind of do well on the tests. Like I would take the SAT, and instead of studying for it in a way that was very structured, I would kind of just take practice tests, do practice questions, and my scores would steadily go up. So I thought the GMAT was going to be the same way, but it definitely was not. I was doing the practice questions that this company provided, and I just was not doing well at all. I was getting most of them wrong, or at least it felt like I was getting most of them wrong. I would get really disappointed in myself. I would think maybe this test isn't for me, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe, I couldn't do this. But I thought, okay, well, maybe these test questions are just really hard, let's take a practice test. And I took the practice test, and I got about I think a 670 or 680, which it definitely is not a bad score, but it was based almost entirely on verbal, which I didn't really need help studying with as much. And my quant score was just not good. I think it might have been like a 39 or 41. I don't know. It wasn't what I needed it to be. And so coupled with the way I was doing on the practice questions on this competitor's website, I just was like, I'm not good enough at this. Like, it's just not for me. I'm not gonna be able to take the GMAT. It's just not a test that I'm suited for. And honestly, I was really down on myself. It really made me a little bit, it kind of hurt my confidence a little bit, which I hope it doesn't. If you've gone through this same process, if you're watching this video and you've also gone through that process, just know it's not you, it's not, don't get down on yourself just because you're not doing well in these practice exams or practice questions. So I didn't think about the GMAT for a while. I kind of just focused on work. I spent, the next 6 months or whatever, kind of just focusing on work, doing whatever. And then I eventually started, I had heard about Target Test Prep from a friend who told me it's a big commitment, it's a lot of studying, but your scores will go up. And, I kind of hemmed and hawed. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. It seems like a lot of effort, on top of having a job. But I decided to give the trial a try, and I did, I think, like the first lesson or first two lessons. And I was just it provided such a structured way for me to study that I could see tangible results. So, something as simple as x squared minus y squared, when I would do it on the other competitor's website, I would just try to figure it out. I didn't know, what x squared and y minus y squared turned into. I didn't realize, how you're supposed to actually use that or what it did, because the site kind of didn't really give you a foundation. It told you, hey, it might be helpful to do some of the study lessons, but the cool thing about Target Test Prep is you have to, you can take the practice tests, but it's laid out in a way where A, you see all the lessons first, and B, you can't do any of the practice tests until you finish the practice test prior. So it's like, if I want to do it, I guess the good thing is just that it walks you in such a step-by-step way that even when you feel like you might not be making effort, even when you feel like you're getting questions wrong, you know that you're still making some sort of impact on your score. You're going to do better, even when you feel like you're not doing better. So yeah, that's the nice part. I guess, like, for example, geometry. I was very poor at geometry. I really just didn't know any of the rules. I didn't know any of the steps, what to do. And so rather than me going in and just doing geometry questions, which is what I tried to do on the other website, Target Test Prep actually said, do these lessons, do these workbooks, do these, read everything we're doing, do the practice questions, and you will do better on geometry. And they were completely right. They were Target Test Prep right again. So yeah, they were just super helpful in that way. And I would say the preparedness factor was super good, because I was nervous for the exam in the sense that, what if I get, what if I totally choke? What if my computer, something messes up, anything like that? But I didn't feel, content-wise, I knew I was ready. I had taken 4 practice tests, I think, prior, and I had scored a 750, a 760, a 770, and another 750. So I was getting around the same range of scores. So I thought, I could end up getting, I think there's like a 30 to 40 point variance. So I could have ended up getting something closer to a 700. I could have gotten something closer to a 770. But I wasn't really concerned. I knew I just take this test again. I know that I am prepared for the content. I know how to do these math problems. I knew how to do the quant problems. And so I felt very prepared in that way. So Target Test Prep was super helpful in doing that. And I also want to shout out Target Test Prep's strategy guides. I don't think they were the most helpful for me personally, but there were a couple things that really stood out. One of them was basically saying, don't let your fear of basically failure make you avoid actively interrogating what's happening. So for example, I could say, I'm not going to do well on this GMAT, so I'm not even going to try to study for it. Or, I'm not going to do well on this practice problem, so I'm not even going to attempt it. Which I thought was super helpful, because I think that's also true in life in general, is just, it's so easy to say, I don't want to fail, so I'm not even going to start it in the first place. But yeah, so I would say, overall, Target Test Prep was, I can't say it enough. I would not have been able to get the 770 without Target Test Prep. And also, the amount of work it was, I don't think was as bad as people make it out to be. I feel like sometimes people say, oh, you're going to have to study for 3 hours a day. It's very intense. I probably studied 5 times a week, an hour a day, hour and a half a day. But I wasn't, I might have studied a little bit longer. I studied for about 4 to 4.5 months. But it's not something that's going to take over your life or something. I was able to work a full-time job and study for the test at the same time. And I think the reason for that is Target Test Prep, like I said, has that structured way of studying. So even if you take I would take the weekends off sometimes. Even when I took the weekends off, because Target Test Prep picked right back up in the same lesson or in the same, order of doing things, it was easy for me to just go back in and remember exactly what I was supposed to be doing. So yeah, in total, I would say if you're on the fence about using Target Test Prep or another site, think about what type of studier you are. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say that. Just use Target Test Prep. The GMAT is a test for people who are very dedicated. It's not as much for people who are smart, or at least that's how I feel. Anyone can work hard and get a good score, but they need to work hard and intelligently. They need to work in a way that makes sense, rather than just saying, I'm going to study for 3 hours a day doing practice problems. No. Go to Target Test Prep, take their lessons, do what they're saying, you'll get a good score. I guarantee it. So yeah, I can't thank Target Test Prep enough for getting me that 770, and I hope it does well for you guys as well. So thanks.